What's up guys, Shawnee Dogs here, and I'm sure you're going to have 3 questions right off the bat. Number 1, why did I just cut 2 seconds into the video? Didn't feel like showing my address, don't feel like getting raped at this moment in time. Number 2, why am I doing an unboxing in the bathroom? Well, besides the fact that I'm a pedophile, there's also very good lighting in my bathroom. Number 3, why is this not live and on a phone that's a piece of garbage turned the wrong way? Well, my phone has terrible audio. I like to throw it back to the nice 2004 unboxings where this is what they all looked like. So here we got it, starting off with a nice beautiful box, has some good weight to it, a nice feel. Had no idea how to get it open after I took this stupid plastic thing off. Turns out there were 2 more of these on the bottom, so it took a little while to get this open. I'll just fast forward through it. Now if you have an observant eye, you'll notice that I am also only wearing boxers, so keep that one in your spank bank. Pants are overrated. So the first thing that is revealed when you open the box is the instructions. Who needs those? Not us. You won't be reading any of these. I use my toilet as a thing to put things down on. It is my desk. So I put that shit down on the toilet, and then we move on to the actual controller. Before you get to the controller though, there's actually one more item that I dropped in the sink. That is the cord, the actual cord that you plug in from the controller to your Xbox. If anything happens to this, the port, you are completely screwed. That's why I had to buy this controller again in the first place. I dropped the controller right where the port connects, fucked up the port and the controller itself. So this thing, this is your lifeblood. You don't want anything to happen to it. So you go ahead, you open your controller case. Feels very, very nice. I don't know, it's some really nice material, like some leather, synthetic sort of feel to it. So you open this bad boy up. This Elite controller weighs about 2 to 3 times more than a normal controller. It's got a lot of hardware. It's got the paddles, the whole 9 yards. You'll see there on the bottom, it actually comes with an extra D-pad, the normal one. I don't know, I prefer the disc. It's pretty nice. And also more like different sticks. They have like a cone stick, like one's concave, one's convex. And the only thing you'll want to change about this beautiful controller is the paddles. Everything else is perfect. What I like to do is these 2 paddles here at the bottom, they're a little bit too long. They get in the way, you accidentally press them. So I just take them off completely, which you're gonna see here now. And those 2 small paddles that are at the top, I put them on the bottom because the ones that are on the bottom, those are the ones you'll be pressing with your middle finger. So I only use the one on the left for my A button and the one on the right for my Y button. This is obviously referring to Xbox controls, but you can also use this on the PS4, which is what I do. You also will need a Cronus or a Cronus Max, however, and that costs an additional $50, so keep that in mind. Now we will move on to setting up the actual controller. Yes, that is Black Sky in Infinite Warfare. I was the world's first. But what you want to do, once you plug it into the back of your Xbox and the controller, you want to open up your home because your Xbox will have downloaded an app for you. You want to go into My Games and Apps on the top right of your homepage, and you will see it right there in your apps, Xbox accessories. It will be towards the bottom because it starts with an X. And this is the COD settings, the settings that I use. I named it COD Jump Shot. You won't have this configuration. You'll have to go into new configuration, name it, and change everything yourself. So you see the main things that I changed were the left and right triggers. It's 0 to 1. What that means is the instant I barely put any pressure on the controller, meaning 1, like out of 100, it will press the thing down fully. It will be as if it's fully pressed. So whenever I barely graze my trigger, it will start shooting. The other things are, the only things I did was assign that left paddle to the A button and the right paddle to the Y button. Now the traditional pro setup is instead of the Y button being there, it will also be on the left side, and X and B will be on the right. X will be on the top right and B will be on the bottom right. But I don't use that setup on this controller. I feel like those 2 other paddles, the big ones, are a little too sensitive. You don't really need to be meleeing or reloading a lot, or at least on the fly where you would need to take your fingers off of the face buttons. It really doesn't make a difference as long as you're not playing like extreme competitive, like actual professional Call of Duty or another video game. You won't need to be using that. So the setting that I use is more than enough to get you started. You won't need to change it ever after, and I do have a second setting for Rocket League Not that that matters or anything, but once you're done with your configuration, you save your configuration, and then you can save it to slot 1 or 2. There's a toggle in the middle of your controller. When it's on the left, that's slot 1. It's right is slot 2, and you don't want to mess with any of this stuff. You could change like your stick sensitivity. It could be better like in a very specific scenario, but honestly, if you've been playing Call of Duty for a long time with regular controllers, you don't want to change the sensitivity of your sticks or any of the other things that this controller has to offer. All it's going to do is throw off your shot and make you worse, and you're going to have to adjust to something you've never done before. Now obviously you'll want to turn your vibration all the way off. Any pro player will tell you this. If you have vibration and you're trying to aim, it throws off your shot whether you realize it or not. So once you turn it off, you will have to get used to it. It will feel weird at first, but it will improve your shot. You can also change the brightness of your Xbox button, but if that really affects you so much that you feel the need to change it, you've got loads of other issues besides jump shotting on COD. But anyways, those are all of the good settings. Don't be that guy that changes the way that all the buttons are mapped. That's not going to help you. You're going to see that in a second. You can literally change everything. You can change your triggers to the D-pad. You can change clicking your left stick to a paddle. A bunch of things that don't make sense. Don't make some really weird custom setup that only you know how to use. It's just the buttons, the way they are laid out, they're there for a reason. This setting that I have, it's optimal, and you should be good to go using it. Just takes a little getting used to like any other controller, but you will eventually get the hang of it. Now, the one thing I did forget to mention is the trigger stops on the back of the actual controller. They only have an up position and a down position. When they are in the down position, that means the trigger stops are on. If you go to press down your trigger, it won't press all the way, and this is so you can do like follow-up shots a lot quicker. You won't have to wait, you know, like to press your actual finger all the way down and all the way back up. It's less of a time. It improves reaction speed. And the last thing that I did not mention, don't go out and buy this controller if you're not already a good player. I'm not sponsored by this. You can't get sponsored by like Xbox, or at least I don't think you can. I played Call of Duty for many years. I never had a Scuf controller. It really is not worth it unless you want to take your game to the next level, but you have to already be good. If you're not good at the game, getting this controller isn't all of a sudden going to make you a better player. You're still going to have the same gun skill. All you're going to be able to do is jump while you're shooting and do some cool YY reload cancels really fast in the middle of gunfights in the air. But this adds a whole nother layer of complexity to the game. If you're not already a good player to begin with, it will be extremely overwhelming. You won't really be able to adjust. It'll be too much to take in. Again, I played for 8 years before I got this thing, and it did elevate my game, but if I didn't have, I'd say like 2 to 3 years before that of just straight experience with a regular controller, I wouldn't have already had the gun skill and knowledge about the game to utilize this thing to its full potential. This thing has a very hefty price tag. It is currently $135, so you really got to look into it. Again, please don't get it if you're not already a good player. If you watch my gameplays and you're like, oh my god, I wish I could do that, this is not going to do it for you. You need to improve your gun skill and your knowledge of the game. This is just an accessory at the very end that will take you to that next step once you're ready. Now, if you want to hook this up to your PS4, there is a very lengthy process. If you do have a Cronus or a Cronus Max, you'll have to plug that in to your computer. You're gonna have to download a program. This took me like hours. You will have to run scripts. You go on this program, you follow like a 20-page instruction manual. It's not fun at all. And you go and find the pack for the Elite controller, and you basically have to download it onto your Cronus Max. And once you do that, you plug it back into your PS4, and then you also need a USB hub that has 4 ports, and for some reason you have to connect your PS4 controller as well, so the PS4 registers that there's actually a legit controller there. And then you have to go and plug in your Elite controller into the first port. It's a very lengthy process. I won't get into that here. That is going to wrap it up for this video. If you did enjoy the video or found it helpful, be sure to drop a like, comment down below with any thoughts or questions you may have, and as always, subscribe to the channel if you are new for some more great videos. I will see you in the next one. Peace.